and welcome to Parallax, where we look at life from how we work. Joining us today is Rob Commodari. Rob is an associate broker with Keller Williams, and he helps people buy and sell houses in the Baltimore area. Rob, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
What does a typical day look like in the life of a real estate agent or a broker?
A typical day in the life of a realtor, I would tell you, is atypical. There's nothing typical about it. You get up in the morning and you have your plan ready to go. You have people to see, people to show houses, maybe listing appointments, phone calls to make, but you never know what's coming at you from the standpoint of putting out fires.
So how did you get into real estate?
Back in '94, I actually started my own business, or started a business delivering newspapers. I had a newspaper agency in South Baltimore. And what happened was, it was '94, I got out of my truck. It was November 1994. I walked out, I got out of my truck. It was Heath Street and Lake Street. And I said to myself, what am I getting myself into? I mean, it didn't look good. There was boarded up houses everywhere. And so what happened over time is I was out there every morning, 1:30 to 4 or 5 o'clock every morning. I was watching these boarded up houses, the wood coming out of the window and a new window coming in. The formstone coming off the house and new brick going up. So people were repointing the brick, putting new doors in. So I got a liking or an interest in watching these houses getting renovated. So it was about 2 years into that, my wife, we got pregnant with our second child, and she said she was going back to work. And I said, no, you're not. I said, I'll do something to supplement your income. And since I was in the Federal Hill area every day and I was watching all this stuff, I'm like, let's try real estate.
You know, I've been told, and actually I bought a house, so I know that it's pretty stressful. But I've heard it's one of the more stressful things that a person can do is to buy or sell a house. How does that stress kind of translate over to you? Do you feel that stress?
You can if you allow it to. You can. The whole process of buying and selling a home, as you said, is stressful. It's just a stressful experience, and especially if you're buying and selling at the same time, it's really stressful. But it's a matter of what you choose to take on or how you choose to handle it. Things are going to happen. Things get out of alignment. You can kind of predict some things happening, but there's always something that's going to come at you that you're just not ready for. And so with that said, when it comes at you, you just got to take a deep breath and you got to handle it. You got to say that embrace that moment or embrace that experience or that issue, and you address it the best way you can.
Talk about some of the techniques that you use to retain customers, to get new customers, things like that.
If you come from a transactional mindset, you will not succeed in this business. You might get business here and there and do so for a while, but people will catch on to the fact that you're just in it for the money. But if you're in it for the relationship and the referrals, because you will get referrals by building those relationships and maintaining those relationships, and you show people that you care about them, you will get referrals continually. So it's like my job every day to make things happen, go back to that question, is my job's to make it rain. You know, I want to make it rain, and when I say make it rain referrals. And
talk a little bit about, you may have a seller who's selling, and then she or he changes their mind and they decide they're going to keep the house.
And if a realtor came in here and said that that's never happened to them, they'd be lying to you, because it just happens to everybody, where you will put a lot of time and effort into a client, whether it's a buyer or a seller, and at some point in time they're either going to change their mind, they want to change realtors, or they're just going to, something's going to happen where they can't sell or they can't buy. And you have to be open to the fact that that could happen. You're at risk when you sign up for this business. You're at risk of putting time and effort into people, into relationships, and nothing coming out of it financially.
So let's look at the flip side of that. What happens when something does work out and you're able to get a couple to buy a house, or a single person to just buy a new house, sell a house, and move cross country, or what have you? How does that make you feel?
When somebody's buying, when we get to the settlement table, right, and it's a smooth transaction, it's a great feeling. It is, because especially when they're thanking you, a lot of times profusely, they're thanking you. Oh, we couldn't have done this without you and your team, because I don't do this alone. I have 5 people that help me out on the team that we do this together. So it's a coordinated effort between all of us. And when you get the thanks, the heartfelt thanks from people, you really feel fulfilled with the job you did for them, especially first-time home buyers. I could tell you a story. I had a 6'3" guy, 22 years old, buying his first house, and he had his mom with him at the table, and he says, "Mom, I think I'm going to be sick." And I said, "Well, I can get you a trash can if you want." He didn't get sick, but the nervousness and anxiety that you see in people when they're buying that first house, and you know what they're going through, and then to get them over that hump, get them in that first house, it's a huge event for them to be a part of that feels pretty good. Yeah.
Rob Commodari, thank you so much for joining us on Parallax. You can find out more about Rob's business with Keller Williams at talktorob.com. In the meantime, keep it between the white line and the ditches.